So, week 2 of judging if these movies are really worth the hype that they get from Rotten Tomatoes.
We've been on a roll. We have seen quite a few different movies this week.
Yeah, we can start with our new releases first.
Yeah.
The first one we watched was Good Boy.
Definitely one of my top three movies of the year. Good Boy is fantastic. Good Boy is all that is right because Indy, the star of the show, is a good boy. That's just a fact, and I appreciate a movie that just delivers.
Now, is that one of your top movies because you liked the story, the atmosphere, or was it just the dog?
Admittedly, it is just the dog.
It's a cute dog.
Yes, it's a very cute dog. The story of Good Boy, I was trying to follow. I think it had very good horror elements and some good jump scare moments in the
Yeah.
film. I appreciate what they made with what seems to be like a small budget film. I liked some of the practical effects. It was neat.
Yeah, I can really appreciate an indie movie like that being so successful and well done. And I think it took years for them to make that because, it takes a while for a dog, especially like this wasn't a trained actor dog, this was just the director's dog.
That's just his dog, yes.
Yeah, but Indy was phenomenal.
Oh, Indy's great.
Indy is a little cutie. Indy wrote a letter to the Academy, very sad that he is not going to be considered for Best Actor at the Oscars.
It's a tragedy.
It is. Maybe he'll show up at the Independent Spirit
I would
Awards.
love to see that. I think I was so focused on Indy because I'm just that big of a dog lover. I think it just made every scene about the dog, so I didn't even care about the story. Not to say it
Yeah.
wasn't bad.
The story felt a lot like Indy versus Black Mold.
Essentially,
That's what I was getting from this house. Like, oh, everyone who lives in this house dies. He's got this, like, lung issue. Even the ghost kind of looked like black tar, like dripping.
they're being haunted by some sort of mud ghost.
Yeah.
Which was kind of fun, and the dog was aware of the mud ghost much sooner than his owner, whose name I actually don't even remember.
Todd?
Todd?
It was
Okay.
Todd.
Yes, our main human characters are Todd, Indy's owner, and I think Todd has a sister named Vera, who we see occasionally.
And Todd seems to have maybe like a drug issue or a sobriety issue at the beginning of the movie. And that kind of leads him to going to his grandfather's house, which his
Trying to get
grandfather has
away.
died. Yeah, and he's trying to just.
Going to the old family farm, essentially.
Yeah. And of course, he takes his dog, Indy. I think it's really cool that they explored this idea of, oh, yeah, of course the dog sees the ghost, because you always hear that in horror movies. It's dogs and children that can kind of sense a supernatural presence.
They always see it first, yes.
This was a very expressive dog. He did a great job.
Indy is a very good boy, yes.
Yes, very good boy. It didn't work out too well for Todd.
We only care about the dogs in this. Then there's a couple cute dogs in this movie.
The other dog did not fare as well as Indy did.
Well, there may have been a ghost dog for a little bit, and I'm still okay with that.
I thought it was really cool how a lot of the movie you didn't see the human characters' faces.
They were not the focus, no.
It was really just focused on Indy. And kudos to the director for training his dog so well to
Yes.
do all of that stuff.
They did a great job. But yes, I'd say Good Boy, it was a good little movie. Hey, if you like dogs and wanted to see a dog as a main character and like the idea of a dog ghost horror film, this movie will be enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. And now let's take a look at the Rotten Tomatoes score. So this has a 90% certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Is this movie worth the hype?
I would say it is. It's a fun watch. It's just a dog ghost story or a dog facing down a ghost story. So as long as you like that, you're gonna have a good time. I would say, yeah, give it a watch.
I agree. It's not a super large scale movie, but I really appreciate that. I just think it's so impressive anytime independent filmmakers can go and make something like this on a small budget.
Absolutely.
It's not a long movie, it's not a flashy movie, but I think for what it is, it's very good. So I would say it's worth the hype as well.
I agree.
I unfortunately don't think it's going to get anything at the Oscars. Sorry,
Maybe
Indy.
not, but
But
that's all right.
yeah, that's
Indy won our
okay.
hearts.
Exactly. Can't wait to see what's next from Indy and from these filmmakers too.
Rising star.
So the next new release that we watched was In Your Dreams, the animated movie.
In Your Dreams, that was DreamWorks, is that correct?
Netflix.
Netflix. Wrong. I had fun with this movie. It was good. I could see definitely for being a kids movie, a lot of people would like this. I thought, first off, the animation is great in this movie. It's got stunning visuals.
I agree. I've been really impressed with Netflix's animated movies these past few years. Of course, loved K-pop Demon Hunters.
Like you said, their animation department's been killing it.
And one of your favorites was Nimona.
Love Nimona.
I really liked Orion in the Dark last year.
I agree. Well, big thing I'm seeing with Netflix movies is they seem less afraid to address and tackle more serious topics in their animated movies, or maybe animated movies for like a younger audience.
I agree. Like this movie, it's very much about this brother and sister kind of trying to adjust and deal with their parents' relationship, and it's not really going well, and they might get a divorce, they might move. There's all of these changes that might come for these kids, and the older sister, she's what, like 12?
Yes,
And
they're both young kids. I think the little brother is maybe 7 or 8 years old.
yeah, and those are just really hard ages to be put through a lot of change.
Absolutely.
And so this movie kind of addresses that and looks at those serious issues that I think a lot of young kids can relate to, but it's still done in a kid-friendly way.
I agree. It's got its funny moments, lighthearted, and it's also serious and has the emotional scenes. So I'd say this is definitely a worth the hype movie. It's that I even wouldn't mind rewatching at some point.
Yeah, I thought the dream sequences and the animation there was really well done. Like, these movies don't just have interesting storylines, they're also just very visually different, I think.
I agree.
And I always think that's a plus with animation. Animation isn't usually one of my preferred genres, but I do think we've gotten some really good examples of that in the past few years, and a lot of them are coming from Netflix. So I really think any of their animated movies are worth looking into.
I agree. Yeah, I think Netflix animation has taken the lead recently. Can't wait to see what's next for them.
K-pop Demon Hunters 1 through 10.
1 through 10. Oh, that series will never end now.
I love it. I'm okay with that.
It was only a matter of time. K-pop's gotten so popular.
Let's check out the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Okay.
The Rotten Tomatoes score is an 87% certified fresh. Do you think that is worth the hype?
I would say absolutely. I'm surprised actually it doesn't have a higher score. I could see a lot of people enjoying this movie. It's worth a rewatch. It looks great. It's a story almost anyone can relate to at almost any time. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, people will enjoy this movie.
I think this movie is worth the hype on its own merits. Like, I understand that 87%. I do think when I compare it to other animated movies I've seen this year, there are a few that I would rank higher than this.
Ooh, such as.
Well, K-pop Demon
That's
Hunters.
fair. That's fair.
That's the best animated movie of the year for me.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that one.
And I'm gonna say, not that it was a more complex movie because it really wasn't, but I really enjoyed Dog Man.
You loved
I
Dogman.
loved Dog Man.
What is it about Dogman?
Little Petey.
Little Petey is cute. Yes, I agree. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. Everyone's got their favorite.
Exactly. But K-pop Demon Hunters,
Yeah,
number one.
no doubt. No
Number one
doubt.
animated movie of the year. So far, we've got a few more that'll come out later.
Yeah, we'll see what
Zootopia
happens.
2.
I'm curious to see what numbers that movie will do. Yes.
Yeah. But In Your Dreams, on its own merits, very
Solid.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, solid movie. Give it a shot.
Give it a watch.
So the next movie we have is Train Dreams,
Ooh.
starring Joel Edgerton. This is one I've been hearing about coming out of film festivals. I've heard a lot of really positive things. I've even seen people predicting it getting in Best Picture at the Oscars.
Yeah, I could see that.
And this definitely could feel like an Oscar baity movie, but I'm not so sure about that this year. This is maybe a movie that would have been Oscar bait like 10 years ago.
I agree with that. You said it well earlier when you said it's maybe not as on an epic of a scale or flashy enough for what you would expect of a Best Picture nominee.
Exactly. Of course, now that there's 10 Best Picture nominees every year,
It might have a chance. I wouldn't be so shocked to see that movie in there.
yeah, it could maybe get in there. It could be the Nickel Boys of the year, just kind of squeezing into Best Picture and
see
not
it.
really a lot of other things, except I did like Nickel Boys a great deal more than this movie.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I could agree with that, yeah.
I didn't dislike this movie.
There's a lot going on in this movie. A lot of different themes addressed, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's really just the story of this guy's life.
Rather unfortunate life.
Yeah, and he's played by Joel Edgerton, who does an amazing job. He's a great actor.
He is, yes. I think Joel Edgerton almost underappreciated. I'd like to see him in more leading roles.
I think so. I don't believe he's been nominated for an Oscar. I'll have to double check that. But if he got nominated, I
I
wouldn't.
would be all right with that.
Exactly. I would say that's well deserved. He put in the work here.
It definitely goes through a lot, and really, the movie starts with the main character, whose name is Robert, I believe. He's been put on a train going out to the sort of American frontier. Doesn't know his family, just kind of been shipped off here, doesn't know what's going on. Doesn't get a whole lot better from there.
Nope. Yeah, he ends up being a logger. So he essentially just spends his days cutting down trees,
Awful.
which you're a big nature tree plant lover.
This
so
movie hurt me.
I figured you would like the theme of when you start cutting down trees, they're gonna start fighting back.
They do address that a lot in a way I would definitely support, saying that there are a few different characters that go on about the kind of overlogging of the area and how that was a part of how those communities and people in that area in that time developed. I thought that was an interesting take.
I agree. And early on in the movie, Joel Edgerton, he witnesses what's essentially a hate crime.
That was most definitely a hate crime.
Yeah, and he's haunted by that the rest of his life. He always feels like something bad is around the corner for him
I
because
really liked their take on that, yeah.
yeah, I did too. And he continuously sees this man.
The victim of the hate crime he most definitely did witness.
Yes, exactly.
He even did try to help.
Yeah, he yelled, like, what did he do? What are you doing with him? But I guess he feels like he didn't do enough.
That's what my take on that was as well. He felt bad for essentially not saving this man's life, which is not a realistic expectation, but he's got a lot of guilt. Because I think our main character he's not a bad guy, I don't think, in
No.
any way. He just has a lot of bad luck, it seems like, in the course of this movie.
He's one of those people who I think, like most people in society, They're a good person at heart, but have trouble knowing when to step in.
That's true.
Like, that's a hard thing to do. And this man, he's not like a boisterous person. He's pretty reserved.
It's mentioned a few times from characters in this movie how the main character Robert is just sort of different. I think more reserved is what they're kind of inferring in, like you mentioned. By the end of the movie, he's almost being referred to as a hermit.
Yes, absolutely. And I think they even mention he didn't really view himself as a hermit, but he understands how that's what he's become. He kind of ends up that way due to a very traumatic instance.
Oh yes, the big turning point of our film is, well, in the logging world there will be forest fires every so often and everything those affect.
Yep, his home that he built with his wife, it goes up into flames with his wife, his daughter, they're inside, and he's off logging, so he didn't know any of this even happened. And I think the big heartbreaker there is before he went off for that job, his wife said, "Why don't we come with you?" And he was like, "No, it's not safe there."
If there's one flaw the main character has, is he definitely does not listen to his wife.
Yeah, you gotta listen to your wife.
At all. A few times she's like, hey, I really think you should try to take a job closer to home so you're not gone for months at a time. We have a 1-month-old.
But nope, logging is all I know. Logging is all I am.
No, they show several times throughout the movie. He's like,
He hates it.
He hates it. He can do other jobs. They show him doing just different odd jobs all the time.
He becomes an Uber driver.
He becomes a horse and buggy Uber driver just because he kind of finds himself into different situations. It seems kind of be what happens. The guy, he sees a lot of things.
Yeah, he witnesses a lot of bad things happen. It's like he'll make a friend and then they'll die. That happens with William H. Macy, who he meets on a logging job.
I really liked his character.
I did too.
He was surprisingly memorable.
Yeah, exactly. And he didn't have a lot of screen time either, but he still made a really big lasting impression on the whole film.
Yeah, he was definitely stealing the show in the scenes he was in.
I agree.
But yes, I would say this definitely is a story about a man just kind of experiencing the ups and downs of life and just kind of taking it all in, along with a cast of pretty impressive actors and performances, I would say. I could see it being a contender in awards this season.
Yeah, the directing was really good. The cinematography
This movie looks
was
great.
Beautiful. All of the shots of the trees and everything. There were even some cute dogs.
Oh, there were some very cute dogs in this movie. I was happy.
And then I really like the ending. You know, the ending montage. It got me. Love a good montage.
You do love a good montage.
I liked seeing him as an older man going through the town and seeing all of the new changes in technology, seeing a rocket go up into space, getting to experience airplanes.
I start to understand why he was being called a hermit, because it's like the 1960s. He hasn't left the woods in a real long time.
They say that he never spoke on a telephone.
He is, yes, finally towards the end of his story, when he's an older man going up on a plane for the first time, and he hasn't really seen the world other than from the view of a logging camp, it seems like. But yes, what was our score for this movie? I expect a lot of people like this movie.
The Rotten Tomatoes score for Train Dreams is a 95% certified fresh, real high.
High score so far. I would say that's probably a worthy score for this movie. It's good. I can understand if this may not be your favorite movie. I don't want to say it's a slower movie.
It is a slower movie, though. Like,
it's not the most action-y movie. It's a lot of people doing things in the woods or in nature, and a lot of conversations and things like that.
There's not really an overarching plot.
Not really.
There's nothing that's, okay, character is trying to get from point A to point B. It's just, here's this man, and here's his life. And I think that's okay. It's
I
definitely
do too.
not for everyone. I'm sure some people will watch this and think it's boring, but I understand the 95% here because film critics, film lovers, people like that, they're going to appreciate this movie. Like you said, even if it doesn't end up being one of their favorite movies of the year.
I agree.
I could see this getting a couple of Oscar nominations. Maybe it'll sneak into Best Picture, who knows? But
I'd like to see that.
I would say worth the hype.
Worth the hype, definitely.
Our next movie is The Bad Guys 2.
I'll start with we have not seen The Bad Guys 1.
No, have not seen The Bad Guys 1.
I think I was right in the assumption that the movie would pretty much fill you in on all the important things.
Which they did right at the top
Right from
of
the
the
get-go,
film.
yes.
So I never felt confused.
And I think actually that's the mark of a pretty good sequel, especially for a fun animated film like this. It lets you just sort of jump in and you're along for the ride.
Exactly. And you get a really good feel of who all the characters are.
They're all pretty unique. I liked that. This movie has fantastic voice acting.
Oh, yeah. I love Sam Rockwell.
He was great. He made for a funny main character whose name I think was just Wolf.
Yeah. I think their names were just corresponding to the animals that they were, except the fox was like Diane or something like that.
Yes, randomly. We'll just get it out of the way first. The fan fiction for
no.
this movie is going to be wild. Just search that at your own risk. So we're moving on from that.
The Letterboxd reviews were interesting.
They're so horny. Yeah. It's okay. They can't help it.
I mean, look, they didn't have to draw those animals that way.
I think what bugs me with a lot of animated movies where your main characters are critters is we don't need, let's say, especially female characters to have human anatomical qualities to infer
They
that
don't
they're
need
female.
breasts, is what you're saying.
Why do they keep stacking these characters? I don't want to see... I'm just going to leave that one off because we're just going down a rabbit hole on that one, babe.
No, I understand you. There's a bit of fan service maybe going on there.
No, I think we're just too twisted for this movie. This movie's too pure for us.
Yeah.
It's a heist movie. I would say it's the same kind of heist / comedy that, what's that magic trick movie with like Woody Harrelson.
Oh,
and,
the Now You See Me movie?
Now You See Me
I've never
movies.
seen a Now
I think
You
those
See
are
Me
like
movie.
heist sort of movies,
Yeah.
but they also have like are kind of like lighthearted at times.
Yeah.
I would say it's kind of comparable to that kind of energy.
Yeah, this movie had great energy, I would say.
It was fun. I was not bored at any point. It was
No.
good. It was not like too long. I think this movie was the right length for
Oh
the story.
yeah, it didn't meander.
Not at all.
I loved the addition of our cool little evil gal group.
They were fun, yes. I liked seeing Natasha Lyonne as just a bird.
Yeah. The honeypot bird.
The honeypot bird.
I loved Danielle Brooks as the main like leopard.
What was the Letterboxd review? Like, this was essentially a furries reunion of
Orange is the New Black. Absolutely.
They are not wrong.
No, not at all. And I love it.
But yes, I think I can see why people like the series. I think it was a good sequel. I had fun the entire time. I wouldn't be surprised, especially learning that these are based off a book series. They'll probably keep cranking these out. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, it seemed like the end credits scene, they were maybe sequel baiting a little bit.
Compared to the other animated movies we've watched, I would say the In Your Dreams movie, I would say, was more visually impressive, but to say that nowadays, animated movies just always look good.
Yeah, and they definitely had
no flaw
very
quality.
different styles, I think, which I could understand, especially if this is based off of a book. I'm not sure if that's an illustrated book, if they're taking the visual style from
I could see that.
an existing illustration. That would
Yeah.
make sense. But this one felt a lot more like bright colors and
It's a vibrant movie.
Yes, very vibrant and a lot of more like hard lines. Whereas in your dreams, I think the lines are more rounded and
It's more cartoonish, I suppose you could say, maybe.
yeah. Of course, that could also just be because this one had talking animals.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fun, action packed movie with a lot of comedy and memorable characters. I had fun watching it. If they keep releasing them, I'll keep watching them. I can see why these would be popular. And yeah, had a fun time.
There was a Sophie Tucker needle drop.
There was. This movie had
And
a good soundtrack.
I appreciate that always. Everything should have a Sophie Tucker needle drop. Where was the Sophie Tucker needle drop in Train Dreams?
I wanted to see it in Good Boy. What score did Bad Guys 2 get?
So this has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 87% certified fresh.
A lot of high score movies tonight. Mm-hmm. I would say that's definitely worth it. I mean, I enjoyed this movie. I think pretty much anyone of any age would enjoy a movie like this. Yeah, I think that is definitely worth it.
I would agree that's worth the hype. If you're into this kind of movie, you're gonna like it. I mean, maybe if you don't like animation or a little more juvenile humor is just a complete turnoff to you.
Yes. No, it's not the most serious movie in the
No.
world. And that's okay. It's
It
fun.
doesn't have to be. It's for kids.
It's a fun roller coaster movie. I have no problem with that. Those are enjoyable.
Exactly. It did what it set out to do.
Yes, it did.
I'm sure a lot of kids went to the theater and loved it and laughed and had a great time.
Absolutely.
And that's a positive thing.
It did its job, yeah.
So 87% worth the hype for me.
Worth the hype, definitely.
All right, so now that we've covered all of the new releases for the week,
We're going back in time.
back to the 90s, 1990 to be specific.
And if this movie has proven anything, things were just as weird back then as they are now.
Were they even weirder, honestly?
Maybe.
So, the first 1990 movie that we watched this week, The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover.
Soon as I heard that title, I knew we were in for a ride.
As soon as I saw that NC-17 rating, I knew we were in for a ride. Which, I will say, I don't think this movie would get an NC-17 today.
No.
I've seen more graphic stuff on HBO. Yeah, there's some violence and there's a lot of nudity, but like, it's nudity. Like, come on now.
Exactly. I wouldn't say there is anything too outrageous in this movie to warrant a high rating like that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But yes, this movie has, I guess, it has a lot of elements.
It
in
does.
it. It's a love story. It's a tragedy. It's a cooking movie.
Dark comedy.
It's a dark comedy.
Well, we open just right off the bat. We have our thief character who is played by Michael Gambon, who...
Dumbledore.
That's Dumbledore.
I'm pretty
isn't
sure
it?
that's Dumbledore. It's essentially, imagine Dumbledore on a lot of cocaine, and he has taken over a restaurant, essentially.
He was excellent in this movie. He
I will
gave it
say-
his all.
He is going full throttle the entire movie. That man must have been exhausted.
Oh yeah, I would have needed a nap after filming this stuff, especially since there's so many like oneers going on.
It's well put together. I really liked the shots in this movie.
Yeah, the direction was fantastic, but right off the bat, he is here at this new restaurant that it seems like he has acquired because he's definitely in the mob.
Yes, this guy is well, he's a thief, I guess, as the movie
Yeah,
as
he's
the movie
the
puts.
titular thief.
Yes.
And then he is berating the cook, who is actually the head chef of this really nice restaurant. So what our thief feels like he is some highbrow food guy. He's this pretentious guy.
Trigger warning, this man is very abusive.
Oh, incredibly abusive. But he feels like, oh, food is my thing. I know more about food than everyone here, including this trained head chef. And the whole time, the chef is like, this guy has an underdeveloped palate. It's his wife, Helen Mirren, who has the good palate, actually. But the opening scene, our thief, he's very upset with someone he was doing business with, or like one of
Yes.
his associates. And they are just demolishing this guy, throwing all this shit on him. There's all these dogs running around. It's a really gross scene.
There are a lot of gross scenes in this movie, and there are just dogs running all over the place. Just cause, I guess. I think they're showing that this restaurant isn't in the nicest of areas, possibly.
Yes. And then I do appreciate that this is what they open with, because if you think this scene is gross or too gross for you,
This
you
movie may
probably
not be for
shouldn't watch the rest of the movie.
Well, it's not that bad. That's about as worse as it gets, I think. But
No, I think it gets worse.
yes, it's definitely a colorful movie.
Oh, yes, it's very colorful. And Helen Mirren, who is playing our thief's wife, she has the most gorgeous gowns.
Oh, she looked great.
Yes, she looked phenomenal. And then the colors, like you said, switched from room to room in this restaurant.
Different colors was a big theme in this movie.
Yeah, there was the blue room, the green room. The dining room was red, and then the bathroom was stark white. And so you would see characters moving from room to room, and their clothes would change color.
I thought that was a neat effect that they
It was
stuck with.
so cool.
I like the kitchen scenes especially. We have our poor singing kid who just cannot help but be singing his heart out wherever he's at. He just does not have a good time in this movie.
No. Very few people have a good time in this movie.
I liked the scale of things in this set. The kitchen was huge. They have these big long running shots of all the workers and all the goings-ons in the kitchen. Same thing in the restaurant. It had a sense of actual size to it. I appreciated that.
I agree. And there were a lot of extras at the other tables. There were waiters walking around.
If it's a shot outside, there's just at least 6 dogs running around. Mm-hmm. And never left wanting.
I liked the Dalmatian.
The Dalmatian was beautiful, yes.
This mobster and his little posse and his wife, they end up coming to this restaurant every night for dinner because Bro needs to feel fancy.
He does.
He wants to feel superior.
He owns the place and he's going to let everyone know it.
Exactly. And that's where his wife, Helen Mirren, meets her lover, who is just this very quiet man. He doesn't talk until quite a bit into the movie.
Oh, halfway, yeah.
But he's always sitting there, having dinner alone, reading his book. And they kind of like make those eyes at each other a bit.
They have a bit of a connection.
Which winds up with them going into the bathroom, which transitions from the red to the stark white, which is just a gorgeous transition.
It is.
And, you know, they're sneaking off to hook up.
They did kind of get right to it. I will say, if I was that guy, you should have noted a lot of the red flags because you can see the big, giant, screaming man sitting next to Helen Mirren the entire time. But he's brave, I'll give him that. He ignores all that and just jumps right in, which, hey, bravo.
When they're in the bathroom in that first kind of hookup scene, I thought this was maybe the funniest scene in the movie.
Okay.
Because her husband comes in there like, you've been taking too long. So it felt almost like a screwball comedy. They're trying to stand up on the toilet so he can't see 2 pairs of feet and like getting the clothes back on. And she's trying to be like, I'm just taking a smoke break. And here he comes barging into the women's restroom screaming at all these ladies.
Oh, Dumbledore is not only gross and angry this entire movie, he's also a pervert. So every time he runs into the bathroom, nothing good is going to happen.
No, nothing at all.
I do sort of question why Helen Mirren married this man, because he does not treat her very well.
It seems like they've been married a long time,
Okay.
and, you know, he probably had some money, and she does mention she's left him many times, and he
Oh, that's
always
right.
finds her and then starts groveling. I love you. And then she takes him back. It's that cycle of abuse.
You're right. It's a portrayal of a abused woman finding hope and how she pursues that and that unfolding for it's pretty much the second half of the movie, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. And she gets those little bits of hope when she can be with this man and have their private little moments. And the staff, they see what's happening with her. They like her. She has a good palate, as the chef says.
Oh, the cook hates Dumbledore, so he's like,
Oh,
"Your
he
wife
hates
is sneaking around on you." Yeah, absolutely. I'll hook them up, and yeah, here's the meat freezer. You can go sneak around in. They get into some very gross situations or rooms that I would prefer not to be naked in.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's like, okay, so if he comes back here and catches us, he's gonna kill someone, which,
There are high stakes. Yes.
yeah, it's very plausible that he will do something like that. And later in the movie, we learn from Helen Mirren, oh, he's extremely abusive to her all the time. And that this turns into what is usually referred to as a good for her movie.
Absolutely, my favorite kind of movie. Our antagonist goes an infuriating long time not getting his comeuppance.
Exactly.
But when he does finally, the payoff is sweet.
It's wonderful. You got Helen Mirren again, gorgeous gowns, and
No, she was
the
fantastic.
whole restaurant staff around her, because they hate this man too. He's been messing with their little singing dishwasher boy and yelling at all the staff and threatening to kill them.
He criticized the menu one too many times, and you gotta be nice to the people that serve you your food.
Exactly. So, yeah, at the end, spoilers, but he does end up killing her lover, which sucks. But then she has our cook.
Remember when we said this movie was gross?
She has him cook him up, and she points a gun right at her husband and makes him eat him.
Yes, the lover gets killed, and I'm assuming, just microwave him for about 7 hours, because boy, do we see a full body size, like, meat mold of a man who, and Dumbledore is coerced into just doing some mild cannibalism.
And I will say, if I could change one thing about this movie, I would have made that man eat more of the body.
He only got 1 or 2 bites
Yeah,
in.
he ate a few bites and then she shot him dead.
What's the point? You got a whole meal there.
Because he was gloating so hard about, oh, when I find you, I'm going to kill you and I'm going to eat you.
This was a very overdramatic man.
Oh, yeah. Extremely. So she's like, fine, eat him then. I would have made him eat the whole thing and then killed him.
And then killed him.
Yeah.
But yes, that is... Helen Mirren is a badass the movie, essentially.
Absolutely.
Good for you, girl.
Good for you. Good for her movie at its core.
And there's a reason they're my favorite. And like I said, the payoff in this movie, when it turns into a little revenge plot, very satisfying. Again, it's visceral. It's funny. It's got its sad and deep moments, and a very unique film.
Yeah, visually stunning and also really interesting to look at.
It is, yes. It really struck me like I'm seeing a piece of like grand scale theater taking place, which was I think, a style choice, a directive choice.
I agree with that.
And it really worked for this film. It's almost absurdist in a lot of ways, but I think that lends to the style that they were going for.
It really does. I don't think I've really seen a movie like this, but I have read a lot of absurdist theater like this, so that's a really good comparison.
Okay. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Who's the director on this movie?
The director of this movie is Peter Greenaway. I don't think I've seen another one of his movies.
I have to look up what else he did.
Yeah.
I was a Unique watch.
Very much so.
But yeah, if you're, I don't know, what kind of person is this movie for?
Me.
You want weird. You want, if it's weird, it's gross. It's over the top.
But it's really unique, and the acting is phenomenal.
Is this a campy movie? I'm still trying to understand camp.
I think there were some levels of camp. Like, I mean, Helen Mirren had on this dress and then these gloves, and one of the gloves had fringe and the other didn't, but like it worked, and it's changing colors all throughout the rooms.
I understand.
There's some camp to that.
It's flashy, yes.
Like, she points the gun at him and makes him eat the body.
Now that you mention it, that was
And the way
fun.
it was shot and presented, it felt like something maybe John Waters would do. So yeah, that's camp.
I like it. Yeah, if you like it weird, give this movie a try.
And the Rotten Tomatoes score is a certified fresh 87%.
Lots of 87s. Okay.
I mean, I would rate it higher. So I would say
I'm
it's
sure
worth the hype.
you would.
I loved this movie.
The weirder, the better. Yeah.
I love weird movies.
You're the kind of person that sees like trigger warning cannibalism and go, okay, let's see what we got.
My favorite movie is about cannibalism.
Come on. I know we're going to have to rewatch that movie at some point, but I am dreading it.
Raw is a phenomenal movie.
It is something. It is unique. You love your unique movies.
I love my unique movies, especially if it borders into the horror realm.
I still don't know if I need to make sure I eat before we watch this movie because I'm not going to want to eat for the rest of the day, or empty stomach because I'm going to throw up. Be prepared for both, I think.
I think so. I think so.
We'll have the trash can at the ready, but we'll see what happens.
All right. Would you consider 87% worth the hype?
I would say yes. I don't know if at the end of the day this movie was for me insofar as I'd want to go and rewatch this. I do think this is a good movie.
You appreciate it from a filmmaking perspective.
Yes, there are a lot of impressive things in this movie. Everyone really acts their hearts out. And I would say, yeah, it was just worth the hype.
I'm going to make you love weird movies one of these days.
Slowly but surely, you're breaking me down.
Our next movie is The 10 Commandments. Now, I wasn't expecting this movie to show up because this movie is from 1956, but based on the Wikipedia list I'm using, this did get a re-release in 1990.
Did they remaster, or was it a updated edition? Why was this re-released?
I think sometimes movies just get re-released for anniversaries, or when I was reading about this movie, it's a very big Easter movie. It even plays on TV every Easter.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
this
that
could have
makes
been a
sense.
holiday release.
I would say the biggest thing I appreciated in this movie, and it kind of harkens back
Mallet
to...
Men.
We'll get to the Mallet Men. This movie harkens back to the time, I would say, in think almost Cleopatra, films on a grand scale like that, where you might see hundreds or thousands of extras, all real, all actually there, all practical effects on the screen at the same time, which was really quite the feat. This movie is impressive on its scale and production quality.
I agree. Of all the movies I've seen, this did remind me the most of Cleopatra
Right.
with Elizabeth Taylor. And it was because, like you said, that scale is just so large. And in the 50s, all of that had to be practical.
Yes, I cannot imagine all the work that went into preparing these sets, and just even just from the animal wrangling, especially in the 10 Commandments that we see, must have been some stressful days on set. I can't imagine how long it took to make these movies.
Oh, absolutely. And I am sure in the 1950s, there were definitely not as many protections for those animals, and honestly, probably for those
I
extras
don't
as
think
there
about
are
that.
today.
I would say there's a fair amount of great stunt work in this movie. We see a lot of chariot riding in our ancient Egypt setting, which I thought thought was really cool. I'm not going to bother looking too much into the historical accuracy of this movie because no. But movie was shot along in a different era, so there are a lot of let's say pale people covered in a lot of bronzer.
Yeah, I know that's
Off-putting.
something that was more common in the 50s, but it's just something that I cannot even wrap my head around why that was ever seen as okay, because it does look really stupid.
It's very silly looking, yes.
Like, you're looking at Yul Brynner and you can see the brown bronzer on his face, and then you see where his neck meets his face and it's completely white. It's not even blended well.
They did not try on some details, which was baffling. The choice of style for like ancient Egyptian armor, I'm just going to say probably has no real basis in anything real. It was just flashy. They had the stupid haircuts. We'll talk about that, but yes, the portrayal of ancient Egyptians, I'm going to say, is not was maybe a little lacking or just not the most accurate.
Yeah, and then this movie was almost 4 hours long.
It's so long.
And it really didn't need to be. I understand more, though, why a movie in the 50s would be that long, because that would have been a cool thing to do with your day in 1956.
You are watching
I'm
that
gonna
all day, yeah.
go to the movies, and yeah, that's what I'm gonna do all day. Whereas today, when you're sitting down after work to watch a movie, this 4 hour long biblical epic
We'll watch
might
that over
not
about
be
3
the
days,
thing.
yeah.
From a story standpoint, I did find the runtime to be pretty unnecessary.
I agree. This is a pretty well-known story.
There was a whole added love triangle that didn't really add anything, although I will say that Anne Baxter as Nefertiti was
was
my
great.
favorite character.
She was unhinged. I loved it. Yes, there's a lot of good acting in this movie, admittedly, despite some of the goofiness on some of the choices kind of looking back, but I liked a lot of the portrayals.
I think if you want to watch this story, you just watch The Prince of Egypt.
The Prince of Egypt animated movie is far superior.
The Prince of Egypt blows this out of the water.
It's true.
I'm about to really compare the two movies, but here you see Moses coming to Egypt and meeting Ramesses there in Egypt when they're adults. Also, he's bringing them Ethiopians, which really came across as
Some of the
racist.
racial undertones in this movie did not age well. It's a product of its time. Just kind of know that going in.
But when you compare them meeting as adults versus the Prince of Egypt, where they're essentially raised as brothers,
Yes.
there's a lot more emotional depth to that movie than there was here.
I agree.
I don't think I cared for the two main actors' performances.
You didn't like how they interacted?
No, I wasn't really getting anything or any emotional depth there.
Okay.
It just didn't work for me, and maybe I was too caught up in the brown face or whatever kind of transatlantic accents they made those actors use at the time.
The dialogue is it's dramatic, it's grandiose, it's like they're trying to sound biblical with things through just everyday speech. It's just continuous, and that kind of wears on you through the course of a almost 4-hour movie.
Yeah, and I mean, historical accuracy aside, this movie wasn't very biblically accurate in a lot of ways either. Like I said, the added love triangle and all of that, which just felt like it was padding the runtime, or it was there because the studio thought there needs to be a love interest.
Yes, that's all I can guess. There was a lot of unnecessary fluff in this movie. This could have been a much shorter film and still had a lot of the scale and production value that went into it.
I think it would have been a more effective movie,
I agree.
honestly, if it had some of the fat trimmed.
I agree. I'm assuming this movie went way over budget when they made it. We're going to have
Probably.
to read the Wikipedia article on that.
Now, the one thing I thought was really cool about this movie, and I believe it won an Oscar for this, was the visual effects
Okay.
for 1950s.
Oh, I'm sure people in the 50s loved this
Like
movie.
when he threw that staff down and it turned into the snake.
It was cool.
I don't even know how they did that,
Yeah.
honestly. Because today they would probably like do some CGI or computer animation or something, but they weren't doing that in the 50s. They had to have something set up or a snake wrangler. I believe you pointed out maybe there was some puppetry going on there
I
as
think we
well.
had some instances of animals actually being on screen versus like you see the top half of a snake in its head kind of moving around kind of unnaturally. So I think we saw some puppetry going on to add to the effects or the let's say miracles they were trying to portray on screen. But I think they did a pretty good job with all the effects.
Yeah.
We get a couple fun giant fire tornadoes towards the end.
The Mallet Men.
The Mallet Men, our favorite boy band. A group of workers, I think they're trying to portray the pyramids or like the Sphinx is being made, something like
By
that.
the slaves.
And I don't even know what they were working on, but they just call the boys over with their big, giant wooden, like comically large wooden mallets, and they just start hammering away in unison. It was just a funny little scene that, I mean, for me, that was the most memorable part of the movie.
For me, the one thing that I thought was really cool about this story, and it was really only at the beginning and then it kind of got dropped, but Moses kept having these internal battles of faith. Like he learns that he's actually Jewish and has to reconcile how he feels about that because his people are being enslaved and abused. And he keeps wondering, well, what kind of God would do that to people,
Right.
to anyone? And see, that's interesting. What's not interesting is when later he's just like, well, God just does what he does, and I'm just gonna go along with it.
Yes, they kind of ignore a lot of realistic issues that are brought up earlier in the film, which is kind of sacrificed instead to portray the, say, more grander scale, the parting of the ocean sort of portrayals at the end of the movie.
Once Moses had the white hair, I was done. He was so much less interesting.
He was, yes.
He was just kind of, okay, I'm a blind follower now. I don't care about any of the implications of this anymore.
true.
I'm just gonna do
He's all
what
in.
the burning bush tells me to do.
That was a goofy portrayal. It's not even a burning bush. It was a glowing bush.
Yeah.
It just had sunshine on it, and he just started hallucinating. Quite fun. Quite fun.
Prince of Egypt's a better movie.
Much better movie. I would say
Watch that instead.
Watch that instead. Skip this. I can see why critics would love this. This is definitely, I could say, see this movie being a piece of Hollywood history.
It was nominated for Best Picture, but not for any acting, directing, writing, nothing like that. Just Best Picture, and I think that is solely based on the scale and the technological achievement,
I would
which
agree.
is fair.
I'd agree. Yeah, I'd say probably don't waste your time on that unless you really like this story.
Yeah, it is almost 4 hours long, and this movie on Rotten Tomatoes has a certified fresh 84%. Is that worth the hype?
Nah, that feels kind of high to me,
That
honestly.
feels high to me too. I would rank this more in line with something like Cleopatra, which is in the 60s, I believe.
I can see during the decades when these movies were made, people were probably losing their minds. But when we're looking at it through a modern lens, it falls more flat for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think this is very technologically impressive for the 1950s. I feel like a lot of people do really like this story, maybe if this is something that moves you in a religious way, that
go for
would
it.
be a reason why someone would like this more. But for me, it doesn't do that, and The Prince of Egypt is a better movie.
Absolutely. I'd give this movie a pass.
Yeah, same. So, not worth the hype for this one.
So next, you watched Back
Back
to
to
the
the Future,
Future.
Part 3.
Last one. I watched this movie last probably going on 10 years ago. I remember liking this movie, but considering it probably one of the weakest of that trilogy. And I'm curious what your thoughts are.
So I watched this movie probably back when I was in high school. I'd watched all 3 of them together. And I remember this one being my least favorite. So when I went into it, I said, oh no, this is the one with the cowboys. I think this time around I liked it more than I remembered,
Okay.
but I would probably still say I enjoy the first 2 more.
I agree. I feel like this movie was made to see more of like the audience's favorite characters doing their things.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they just wanted to see these characters
Absolutely.
in this Western setting.
I don't think Western was the best setting for a Back to the Future.
I don't like Westerns personally.
Nah. It was fine. It gets kind of hokey.
Yeah, I do think the characters are still very fun. You know, we love Doc and Marty.
Yeah,
I liked seeing Michael J. Fox
If you
playing Seamus, his Irish, like, great-great-grandfather.
Michael
or
J. Fox
something.
is great in this movie. If you're a Back to the Future fan, you're always going to like this movie as well. It's worth at least a watch.
Exactly. We were introduced to Mary Steenburgen. Always love her.
She's great in this movie.
She is great in this movie. I was a little worried that this new character would just be there to be Doc's love interest, which she's a little young for him, but
I agree.
we'll just
Glossing over
gloss
that.
over that.
1990, what can you do?
I thought she really had her own character. She was smart. She wasn't just there to be a damsel in distress. And I think she added to the movie instead of just feeling like a plot device, which I
agree.
was worried about initially.
Yeah, she actually had things to do. It's a funny movie, too. It's a lot of memorable scenes with Doc, especially. He's funny in this movie. It's enjoyable.
I thought that the actor who plays Biff in the movies, he came back here and was playing Biff's ancestor, Mad Dog.
That's right.
He was so over the top and funny in this.
He's great.
He was a great antagonist.
Absolutely, yes. There's a lot of good performances. I think it's honestly the story that's the weakest part of this movie.
I would agree. And I thought the ending was really weird
Why's that?
because the whole time in the movie, Doc is kind of reconciling that maybe time traveling wasn't the greatest idea.
We've seemed to have some trouble
Yeah, like maybe
since we started this.
we're not meant to dwell on the past or worry about the future. We should just live in the now. And he says, you know, we're going to get the DeLorean on this train to, you know, get it fast enough. And we're going to get back home and then we're done. We're not time traveling anymore.
Right.
And it's like, okay, that makes sense. But then at the very end, when Marty's back and it seems like Doc, you know, went off, stayed in the Western world with Mary Steenburgen, here he comes on a train with her and their 2 kids just to say hi
They wanted to wrap it up for some
before
reason.
they go off and do more time traveling.
Yes,
What was the lesson?
there are some areas where our characters grow.
Marty learned a lesson.
Yeah.
He learned not to care what people think of him or like if they're calling him a coward. He gets really mad because Mad Dog says, "What are you, yellow?"
Yes.
Which I guess is yellow-bellied. I don't really know what that's supposed to mean. I just think it's another word for coward. But he gets really mad about that. But then he learns by the end, I'm not going to do that. And he manages to avoid a car accident because he doesn't care what any random loser thinks of him. And that's cool.
I think so, yes. It was neat seeing the characters learn from their past mistakes. But like you said, then the ending comes right in. It's like, well, they're up to their old ways, just, you know, we're going to keep time traveling just because it's really fun. Like, so it kind of falls flat right at the end, but overall, it's a pretty enjoyable watch.
Yeah, I
It's
do
fine.
think, and I'm not the biggest like adventure movie fan.
Yeah.
So I thought the whole climactic point of the movie where they're trying to get the train fast enough, but then they're trying to make sure that Mary Steenburgen doesn't fall off the train and everything.
Right.
I thought it was a little long. I got a little bored sitting there watching that because I think there's only so much you can do with that visually.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was never a point when I thought a character's gonna die here.
That's
It's not
true.
that kind of movie. Of course, when I first watched these movies, I thought, oh, they're these family friendly movies that I've never seen before. I was in high school when I watched them. And then I finished and I was like, these movies are much rapier than I would think a family friendly movie would be. So
Things were different in the 90s, hon.
I never really thought the main characters were in peril.
I agree. This movie is I can picture like in the writer's room, they were just like, but what if we did Back to the Future, both cowboys?
Yeah.
And then this movie was born.
And then that ending feels like, oh, well, the focus group really just wants to see Doc again. They want that happy ending. So then they just
Exactly.
tack it on, you know?
We just wanted to see more from our characters and kind of wrap it up, which I guess I can appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
They did not try to drag out this plot too much any farther. I would say even this movie was probably unnecessary, but again, if you were a Back to the Future fan, you're going to like it. I mean, it's Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox. It's
Yeah, they're a
fantastic to see them in anything. So I'd say almost on that merit, it's worth a while.
Yeah. And the Rotten Tomatoes score is a certified fresh 79%.
79, okay. I would say that's worth it. That's a fair score for this movie.
Yeah, it might be a little high for me. I don't know if I would revisit this part of the trilogy.
Sure.
This also isn't really one of my favorite film trilogies or anything like that. It's not something I go back to a lot. So I think if you're a fan of these movies, you'll probably like this movie too.
I agree. It's a fun time to watch these movies, but it's not my favorite trilogy of all time. And yes, I may not find myself wanting to do a rewatch anytime soon, but that's okay.
Yeah, we're not the biggest action adventure
Not
movie
really.
fans either.
Every once in a while, though.
Yeah, but this one was perfectly fine, if a little disjointed at the end.
Yeah. You want some nostalgia of some Back to the Future, I'd say it's worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and last but not least,
Total Recall.
good old Arnold coming in with his unique style of acting.
I've never seen this movie before.
I've seen I think Colin Farrell started in a remake in the mid 2000s.
I've never seen that one either, yeah.
This is definitely a kind of a weird sci-fi movie I could see coming out in the 90s.
The first thing I noticed about this movie was that it is directed by Paul Verhoeven, who directed Showgirls.
Yes, I could see his unique style coming through. It's weird and over the top and a lot of unexpected twists and turns.
I'm honestly not a huge sci-fi person, but I thought this concept was really interesting.
It was unique, yeah.
I did think it was a little weird that, oh, we're treating Arnold as this everyman guy who's just normal with a wife and a job, and he's feeling unextraordinary. And then it's like, nope, that's false. He is actually part of this big organization and kind of left, and now they've been messing with his memories.
Yes, there's some Inception-like shenanigans going on. But yes, it was really funny looking back that you've got Man Mountain of Arnold next to normal-looking characters, the size difference, and he's just kind of pretending, no, I'm a construction worker, nothing going on here, and things quickly unfold and start unraveling very quickly.
I thought the idea of having a whole vacation to Mars implanted into your
I'm not
memories.
sure if I'd go for that.
I wouldn't either, but I thought that was a really interesting concept. It's something I'd never thought about. But I think with sci fi, what can really grip me about it is giving me some form of new and interesting technology
Sure.
to really wrap the plot around. And then the plot ends up not even really being about that. But I still found it pretty engaging.
This movie had a lot of different themes going for it. It's got political espionage, it's got elements of heavy sci-fi,
There's a
and
big capitalism bad theme that I actually found pretty timely because they're trying to like monetize air for the people of Mars.
there's themes of colonization and imperialism, and like you said, exploitation by a really over-the-top capitalist kind of corporation. My favorite part of this movie, the prosthetics.
Oh, the prosthetics were so good.
Prosthetics and makeup is where this movie shines.
Well, this movie won a special achievement Oscar for its visual effects, and that's extremely well deserved.
I agree.
It's all of these really cool practical effects. My favorite was the effect you got when a character was like running out of air on Mars and their eyes just start bulging out of their heads and
Arnold looked very goofy at many points throughout this movie, and he was not afraid to give it his all. He is shrieking and yelling and confused all over the place, and I think he was having a blast.
yeah, I can appreciate when an actor like that who's a big movie star isn't afraid to look a little silly.
I agree. And you get the really cool, I think they were supposed to be mutations from maybe radiation exposure for
Yeah.
the people on Mars. So you get really cool, people have multiple arms and different growths, and it's gross and cool looking, and a lot of just squelching and over the top makeup and coloration. It was cool.
Yeah, and it really fits into that world that they've created.
Really, it's heavy action in that movie. I think there's a lot of running gunfights and cat and mouse chases, and Arnold figuring out, oh, I'm actually a spy super soldier, and figuring out what side he's on.
My biggest complaint, I wanted more Sharon Stone.
She's shines in the scenes that she's in, but she's not in very long.
Always more Sharon Stone, always.
Michael Ironside was pretty good in this movie.
Oh yeah, he was fun. Really fun villain.
Everyone was definitely giving it their all in this movie, even if it was goofy in some points, or very weird and over the top. But
And I really liked Arnold's love interest, who he ended up meeting, and they kind of established, oh, they've had a thing before when he was his kind of other consciousness, but now he's Quaid. They wiped his memory. He's
Yes.
Quaid now.
he's undercover, but then they replace his personality, so he's just a whole new person for the better, I think.
I agree. And I really liked how his love interest, she could really hold her own.
I agree. Yes, there are no damsels in this movie.
Yes, I hate the damsel trope. I like it when, especially in a sci-fi action movie, you never feel like this character is incompetent. You never feel more worried for her than you do for Arnold, you know?
Sure. No, I get that. On that, there's a lot of cool portrayals of what they thought technology might look like in whatever century this is supposed to be, from a 1990 perspective. Yes, the story, I would say, is fine. It's, I think, more in the stunts and effects that I enjoyed this movie. It's funny and dramatic, and you've got just a lot of action and a lot of chase scenes. There's a weird alien subplot right at the end that I kind of felt was unnecessary.
Yeah.
I think they just were using that to get to the finish line there.
I think there is a lot of lore that got touched on that wasn't fully fleshed out here.
Yes.
So I'm actually surprised. I don't believe there was a sequel
I
or
don't think
anything
so.
for this.
Was this based off a book or anything like that? I can't remember.
Okay, so this is based on the short story We Can Remember It For You Wholesale by Philip K. Dick. And that seems to kind of be about the false memory thing
Okay.
that we have going on here. But of course, I think more of the stuff with the aliens and more of those actiony pieces probably aren't there in the short story.
I thought it was most interesting when they were tackling the topics of we have these workers on a colony essentially and it's on Mars where they've purposefully built insufficient housing, so radiation is affecting the population, and you see a lot of disfigurements and all these different cool mutations, and some people I think have different powers from those mutations, so you get that sci-fi element but also that realistic worker exploitation.
Well, and then there seems to be an uprising going on as well because the
Yes.
second he gets there, there's this gunfight.
He's joining the rebellion.
Exactly. And I thought the idea of that rebellion was really interesting, but we didn't delve too deep into it. But any society where you're having to pay for oxygen, yeah, there needs to be some rebellions going on.
And it's sad because I think about how people want to do space exploration and going back to the moon, for example, and I could definitely see a pay for oxygen subscription being
Absolutely.
something in the future. I did have the horrible thought of he's joining the rebellion. This is Arnold is this movie's Luke Skywalker, but then I had to think of if Arnold was playing Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars movies.
That would have been something.
I won't try an Arnold impression, but he's going all out in that sort of, I would call it that memeable yeller voice that he does. Well, no, it's a classic. I like this movie. It's a fun time. It's got a lot of memorable scenes, and I could definitely see why people would enjoy this.
Yeah, I'm glad that I watched it. This was my first time seeing this, and those effects
Those effects
were just so cool.
they're gross and dark, and there's just a lot went into this. This is probably an expensive movie to make.
Yeah, I believe I was reading it at the time was one of the most expensive movies
I believe that.
ever made.
Another
But it made a ton of money, so.
Another bigger scale movie, large sets, lots of extras. There's a lot going on. We've had a string of those, and it's really cool to see. I know that style probably isn't it's not in style as much anymore, but it's neat to see that portrayal and just what you can achieve just by almost entirely practical effects.
Yeah, I wonder if the remake leaned
Ooh.
on practical effects
Or we
if
might
it
have to
went
watch that
more
after this.
in the digital realm, because I don't think this movie works if the effects aren't practical.
I don't
think
think
it's as interesting.
If I'm remembering right, I think it's the Colin Farrell, Kate Beckinsale remake, if I'm remembering that right. And I don't think there's no Mars or anything like that. It's just a sci-fi.
weird.
It's more the memory kind of stuff. I could be wrong on that. We're going to have to watch that movie after this.
Maybe basing it more on the short story instead of the movie.
That could be.
But yeah, I would hope they never remake this, because if this got remade, it just wouldn't be on that same scale. And they would either go complete CGI or CGI over the practical effects, which is something I hate when they do in movies now,
I agree.
because there's just so much artistry in those practical effects, and it's so cool.
Yes, the level of detail achieved was very impressive. There's the one guy, he pulls off his glove to reveal he's got an elongated two-pronged arm. That surprised me. I thought that was really neat to see. He extends it out all this weird it's bending in this kind of grotesque way. That was really cool. People have a second heads growing and talking, and a lot of cool puppetry as well in this. or however they achieved those effects. I liked it a lot.
Me too. And our Rotten Tomatoes score for Total Recall is 81% certified fresh. Is that worth the hype?
I would say that is worth it. I think that's a pretty fair score.
I agree.
If you're not into sci-fi really at all, probably skip this one. This is not for you. But if you like a good either classic Arnold action movie, sci-fi that gets kind of weird with it, or just kind of a fun kind of you're just along for the ride, classic underdog and evil corporate empire story, I would say it's worth a watch.
Honestly, I think even if you're not into sci-fi, this movie should probably be watched at least once, solely so you can experience those effects.
Okay.
They're just so inventive and so well done, and I don't think I've seen anything really like that.
I'm sure it was tough to pull off all those effects, yeah.
Yeah, because even though this isn't my preferred genre, I really enjoyed this movie. I'm glad I watched it. I don't know how often I would revisit something like this.
Sure.
But I'm glad to have experienced it.
I agree.
So I would say worth the hype as well.
Worth the hype. Definitely. Give it a shot.
All right. So that has been our week in movie watching.
We covered a lot of movies.
We did. 8.
A lot of different topics. There was nothing I hated in this list.
No.
Every movie had something to give. I'm definitely going to say Good Boy was probably one of my top contenders. Indy is my new favorite. Dog in Media. And
even better than Messy.
not my current favorite dog is always going to be the most recent one I've seen.
That's fair.
But I would say lots to be seen and learned from the movies we watched. A lot of history and a lot of cool portrayals. Lots of good performances.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm really glad that we're able to kind of go back and catch some things in film history.
So I definitely never would have watched these or seen these movies otherwise.
Yeah, I don't think I would have either. Yeah. And the new releases this week were pretty good as well.
I agree. They definitely, in the animation especially, I'm happy to see what else Netflix is going to be putting out.
Me too.
I think it's a good time and just kind of reinforces we like the streaming services, and especially for good movie releases, we'll keep watching those.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Goodbye.
So long.